Hello YouTube once again. What's up? Alfred here, and back with another video. Today I want to touch on one thing, basics, right? Basics. Now this one goes actually. This one, the thing I'm about to speak on mostly is really geared towards a lot of youngins, right? Youngins in their 20s and 30s, right? A lot of youngins usually either don't learn the basics or skip the basics, right? And they learn sometimes along the way, but they don't really grasp those basics. So what I'm saying today is you should really try your best to master the basics, right? As we move along life, right? I'm not talking about basics, I'm just talking about really learning whatever you want to master, whatever you want to know in life. Know the basics, know what are the principles that govern whatever you're trying to learn, right? Or what you want to accomplish and master, right? So a lot of youngings, when I'm talking about youngings, I'm just talking about the younger dudes right out there, teenagers, the 20s, and the third, and the ones and dudes in their early 30s to mid 30s, right? Most of them don't really take the time to try and really learn about the basics and master them. It's because at times there's a lot of right now in this where we this time we live in is enough information, and you can learn things even on your own, right? YouTube, Google, and this AI stuff, all that gives you a learning platform where you can learn almost anything, or you can learn things on your own or at your own pace. It's really up to you. There's really nothing that you can not learn that's within whatever sector, at least, or whatever field you want to learn, right? Only a few things that you may not have that capability of learning, especially maybe those things that need more practical stuff, right? Hands-on stuff, right? But learning has become very easy, right? It's enough information. Now you find a lot of youngins these days really have plenty of knowledge, plenty of information out there. However, they don't grasp their principles, they don't grasp the basic and fundamentals of a field, right? Of whatever they want to learn. But they go along, right, and they get success. Young dudes are getting the success out there. You can see them. You can check them out. They're getting successful and they're doing their thing, right? Which is cool. However, as they move forward, they find that there's a lot more than what they need, more than what they have at the moment. So what usually happens is that because they never grasped the basics and they went along with the knowledge, with the flow of things, because it's much easier. It's really easier to learn things and go with the flow and grasp things, right? And then you get success. But that success sometimes leads you to a place where now you become stagnant, or you are in a plateau, and this is where a lot of youngins get to realize that there are some things that they have left behind, right? So now it's really up to you to move a few steps back. Sometimes it's a whole level back, right? Or you move forward blindly. So I see a lot of youngins, right, who are trying to move forward blindly because their success now has got into their head, and they're actually moving with ego now. Now what is driving them is ego. It's not the purpose of learning, it's not the purpose of developing to a better version of themselves. So it's just ego, because now they've had that success, which some people have not, right? So now, instead of moving backwards to learn, right? And when I say move backwards, I'm not saying leaving everything out and getting rid of things. No, I'm just saying that moving to a lower level, right? Or trying to grasp those principles, which will take time. People are not willing to do that. Youngins, even a lot of OGs, a lot of elder brothers, and just those the elder brothers, right? In their 40s, 50s, they're not really willing to grasp those principles, right? And they still find themselves in a perpetual vicious circle of doing the same thing over and over, because they're not willing to do that stuff they're supposed to learn, right? Maybe you're supposed to learn the basics of something, right? That's how life goes, right? We need to learn the basics so that we can move forward. Now, how do you know that you need to learn the basics? You find yourself, you're stuck in life. You find yourself now you cannot move forward, right? You find yourself that what you've been, the things you've been applying are not working anymore, right? And that's where we usually get stuck at times, because we move on, we're moving along, and we're finding this success. You're with your friends, everything is kosher, everything is good, but all of a sudden things start being a bit too demanding. Right now, when things become demanding, that's when you need to be serious and apply different tactics and strategies. Now, in life, obviously, everyone has strategies. As long as you've got a purpose, as long as you've got goals, you need to have a strategy. You will need to have tactics. Without tactics, right, and the daily maneuvers, right, where you're supposed to apply the things, the short-term application of things. Without those, then you will be frustrated, because you'll find yourself you're not able to move towards your goals, right? And without a strategy, it means your plans cannot come into fruition, because you need a strategy, a grand strategy, to take you from where you are to where you are headed, especially in the long term, right? So most youngins, if I come back to a lot of youngins, then I'm speaking to a lot of youngins, they have the tactics, right? They know how to maneuver. You know how to maneuver. They know how to get the information, the right information, right? However, the strategy usually isn't to their advantage, because they never learned how to strategize really. And strategizing usually means that you have to think long term, right? And unfortunately, we were not taught to think long term, especially as men here. We're not really taught how to think long term basis, right? Like 5 years, 3 years, 4 years. So when a situation arises, situation that needs us to do something different, or needs us to have a certain skill in a skill level, right? Then that's when we realize that we cannot move beyond what we know now, and we need to know or get better knowledge than we have at the moment. But then again, learning, as it is, it's a skill. Now, if you've been learning on autopilot and it's been easy, you need to relearn things. You realize that you need to go back to the basics. And we usually skip the basics because we are competing, we are moving forward, we are learning on the job and all that. But the basis and the principles of things are very, very important. You have to learn the basics, and these will set a better format for you as you move along, because you always have to go back to the basics and strategize, right? It's just like going back to the drawing board and strategize and learn new ways of moving forward. So yeah, the whole point of this video was that you need to learn the basics, master the basics of whatever field or whatever endeavor you want to embark on, right? Which means that you need to know what skills you already have to know what skills you want in life. You have to know your plans. You have to know the strategy and how to get to where you are going. You realize that it's a marathon. You may have to sprint here and there, but they're very short sprints. But in the long term, it's a marathon where you have to learn different things almost each and every day, or or frequently. You have to learn more about yourself, and that means that you need to have self-awareness. Self-awareness, basically, you need to have discipline, and you cannot really master yourself with these two things: self-awareness, which is self-knowledge, right? Which comes from self-knowledge, basically, and discipline. You can't. It will be difficult for you to master yourself, right? Because there's, especially now, with so much distraction, right? So much things will distract you from your purpose. Social media, women, all sort of entertainment right now that is mindless entertainment, all that will distract you. So if you need to learn something, make sure you know the basics. If you need to do things that will move you forward, make sure you know the principles and the basics. And it gets tougher if you don't know the basics. The more you move on, the more you move forward, you may be getting successful, right? But the success that you're getting at that moment, make sure that it's a permanent sort of success, not just a sort of success that don't make sure that it's not make sure that it's not the type of success that just simply validates you, right? That simply give you a pat on the back by society, that makes you just make you a one-hit wonder for that moment. You want permanent success, you want permanent knowledge, and that always will be the best thing for that is always learning the basics, always learning principles, right? of that certain field and all that. And the knowledge is out there. However, a lot of these things are learned practically, or learned firsthand from people who have that knowledge, or people who can give you that knowledge and help you along the way. Mentors, coaches, advisors. Those are the people who can hold your hand and take you there. Those people who have been there. Those people who have that experience, right? Without knowledge, without that experience, or someone to guide you through the experience, then you will find yourself stuck somewhere, and then all of a sudden all you'll be doing is being driven by ego, and you'll just be successful, but your success will be very much limited. And sure, I sure you don't want a limited sort of success where all you have are things that everybody else has, which becomes average, right? You want a sort of success that's kind of unique to you, that you can be proud of. You want that success that you can define yourself, right? That you can define for yourself, that comes from you within. You don't want people to redefine the type of success you want, and which usually the permanent sort of success, of course, you have to define that, will always be defined by you, and it will take time for you to really grasp those principles. So you need to put in the time. Obviously, you need to have the right people, you need to have the right strategy and the right plans. Without these, then you find yourself stuck, and you find yourself just as average, bottlenecked in the same situation as everybody else who do not want to learn the basics, who are very much ego driven. So with that said, man, just remember one thing, that principles and basics are very important. Those are the driving forces of learning, right? Those are the basics, they are what in fact they're the foundation of what learning is, right? The foundation is always the principles, grasping those so that you can learn, and this will also at least this will also spread throughout everything else that you want to learn. So go back to basics, get someone who can actually help you or learn those basic, even if you're learning on your own. But I would suggest is to get someone to help you out, someone who you think is much more experienced, someone who you think knows his stuff, and someone who you think you would like to emulate and be like that person, especially in the long run, right? Get to know the basics, get to know the principles, and till next time, peace.